Hello, everyone. We have made it to the 20th episode of the Concord University Athletics Senior Spotlight for the fall 2020 semester. My name is Wes McKinney, and joining us today is football defensive lineman JT Turner. JT, so great you could spend some time with us today.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, man, looking forward to this little interview here. We've had a great one so far, and I think you'll be no different as we normally do here. We start with the athletes' recruitment to Concord, and if you could talk about your journey from Roanoke, Virginia and Lord Botetourt High School to Concord, who all was involved as far as other schools go during that time, and just kind of walk us through that if you could.
So I was visiting a lot of camps, getting few looks from a lot of D1 AA schools, and had got invited to like junior days and stuff like that, but no real main offers. Never talked to any Division II schools. Then one day, coaches from Concord came to the school, first time I ever heard of them, and talked us into coming to a camp. I was actually planning on going to Liberty University camp that same day as the Concord camp, and last minute decided to go to Concord and see what they had to offer. Went up there to the camp, and they really liked me, and they saw some potential in me and decided to give me a chance and recruit me onto the team.
What was it, JT, that sold you on Concord?
I wasn't too sure about it at first. It was mainly my first offer and first real look by a college program to give me a chance to actually come onto the team. I wasn't too sold on it at first, but I didn't know this until I came up there. I've been going to pipe stem almost my entire life as a kid growing up, being in Royal Rangers at my church, and never even knew Concord was back by there. I always drove right by it to go to pipe stem, and I don't know, I just felt like a God thing I felt like partially at home, just being out in the mountains. And then when I got to meet guys and get with the team, I really loved the community and everything we had here, and that really brought me in. I really settled in greatly.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat story there. You drove by Concord all those years and didn't even realize it. So you get to Concord, JT, and you're recruited as an offensive lineman. You play a little bit there your freshman year on the offensive line, but then you transition to the defensive line. Just kind of walk us through that if you could.
I was recruited as an offensive lineman. Never tried to get recruited as anything else. Played a little defensive lineman in high school, not a whole lot. I mean, just as a senior, just played in. I didn't even start totally. I rotated in with a bunch of guys. But then, after my freshman year, we had a great number of guys from the defensive line fall out, and we had the coach was looking for guys to step up, and he liked the work I was doing, thought I could do the job, and asked me and pulled me up, told me it was a promotion to take on the job, and I've not taken it lightly. I've tried my best to completely. It's been a huge turnaround. A lot of it's the same as trying to be a big guy, strong, getting bigger, stronger, faster, but the technique's a lot different, so I'm trying to hone my craft in. But I've fallen in love with it. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, JT, and you've kind of touched on it to lead me into this. What are some of the similarities in the defensive line to the offensive line, and then what's some of the differences as well?
It's a little different. As a defensive lineman, I have to take on double teams as opposed to offensive lineman where I have a buddy beside me blocking another dude. There's a lot more of a technique aspect, I think, like with speed and agility that has to be applied. You can't just be all strength, and I think that applies to both sides. A lot of guys just think if you're 6'5" and 300 some pounds that you'll be amazing, but some of those guys I've seen aren't very athletic, don't know what they're doing, and they get tossed around. Definitely a lot of technique in both positions, but there's definitely the concept of having to read and react, I think, as a defensive lineman, and then execution as an offensive lineman with a planned play versus the defensive lineman playing against the play and having to work off it.
Similar to the offensive line, you have your offensive linemen working together as one unit. Would you say that's kind of the same deal with a defensive line? Is you have guys that can do different things, run stuffers and pass rushers and whatnot, but doesn't it come down to those 3 or 4 guys being able to work together kind of in unison?
Yes, absolutely. If you got one bad guy on the line, it leaves a hole open, and that you could have everybody else doing exactly what they need to do, but one guy gets blown out, driven out, and it ruins everything. We definitely need to be all cued in on the same things, go into the same gap responsibilities, and then just different guys for different play execution, third down, first down, run situation, pass situations.
I'm going to kind of put you on the spot with this question here, JT. You've played with and worked with a lot of defensive linemen here at Concord in just 2 years. Who is the one you think you've maybe learned the most from, or kind of molded your game from that one player?
Hard to say. Like I said, when I got moved in, there wasn't a lot of guys ahead of me. I was kind of thrown into the fire there. One of the big examples was Justin Noble and probably Ryan Gatrell were the main leaders, but they were defensive ends, so our technique's a little different in that aspect, but it definitely brought me in greatly there to just introduce me into it. But then last year we had a defensive lineman come in, D'Anthony Muse, fifth-year senior, who definitely has been experienced in the game, who's taught me a lot and showed me a lot as an interior lineman, and I've really appreciated to understand, learn some stuff from him, read and react, and understand how to be a professional defensive lineman with my work.
I want to jump into it more in detail here in just a couple of moments, but UJT very, very sharp in the classroom, near a 4.0 GPA, and like I said, we'll detail that here more in just a minute. But how do you balance the classroom and football together? Because you got, it's just not showing up for practice or showing up for a game, but it's watching film, attending meetings, stuff like that. So how do you balance all that?
Yeah, so I have a lot of when we have recruits come in, they ask us about the school, even parents, they ask us like how difficult is everything, and one of my biggest answers I always tell them is time management. You really can't beat time management. It's really learn to be the most productive and efficient in everything you do, and I try to just balance everything accordingly to how I do things, how my brain works. I try to set aside time every day and just grind out. Don't get too much into play video games or anything like that. I stay focused on my schoolwork. I try my best at least, and try to maximize my efficiency on all levels so I can have time to focus on football, then work on school, and then even have time to rest and recover. And that's just the time management it's a little different for everybody. It depends on the semester and everything, what's going on, but it's mastering that and learn how to be the most efficient in that aspect.
Takes a lot of self-discipline. You might be the first 20-something-year-old I've ever heard say that they don't play video games, so that's good on you, man. But I did want to talk about last year. You get a COSIDA Academic All-District, and then a few weeks later you get named an Academic All-American. And is that something that you kind of strive for, is to be, is to get all these academic awards? Sure, athletic awards are nice, but academics and athletics kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even know there was an Academic All-American. It was news to me when I got the honor. Nothing I really ever strive for. I mean, I always tried to. I believe you always got to strive to be the best in everything you do. When you're given that responsibility, you make the most of it. And I've always tried to do my best, get A's. And I've even had guys joke with me and said, like, yeah, JT, I know you're smart and all, but, like, what's the difference between 4.0 and, like, what I get as long as we get the same degree? And when I got the All-American honors, I was like, well, that's pretty cool, different.
Last thing here for you, JT, and then we'll let you go. You have obviously been on a lot of fields here at Concord playing football. You've played 20 career games on the defensive line, and like you said, you kind of got thrown into the fire, but now you're one of the older guys on that Concord defense, and I've talked to a lot of the guys there on defense, and they're kind of more of a lead by example person. Is that kind of the leadership role you take as well?
Yeah, I'm not a big speech hoorah guy. I try to just do my job and do my responsibility, and then like step in when I need to help the guy beside me who needs help. Always try to be somebody can lean on and give the best help I can, what I can do, and try to give them everything I got.
Well, JT, we certainly appreciate the time here with us today, and we look forward to you guys being able to play some football games and seeing you excel on the field once again and also in the classroom as you have done your entire career here at Concord.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Once again, JT Turner on the 20th edition of the Concord Athletics Senior Spotlight for the fall 2020 semester.